Hello, I'm Matt Williamson. What's going on? I am still riding high after doing a ton of shows today here on Monday. Condensed week. We got to start thinking about, I'm going to be digging into the Bengals while I'm watching 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. But I'm flying high about a really good professional win by the Steelers. Took care of business, handled the game. I think they're in a really good spot. I'm warming up this team more and more. And, there's tougher competition to come. Don't get me wrong. We know that. But let's dig into some snap counts things as we always start this day after podcast. The Steelers played 59 offensive snaps. Jones, Fautanu, McCormick all played 59. Frazier only played 56. So I missed him going out, but whatever. Same with Simalu. Same with Rodgers. Rudolph came in and kneeled it at the end. They all played 56. Maybe they just pulled them all at the end. That's probably what happened. DK Metcalf played 49. That's a high percentage, of course. Now we get into kind of the interesting stuff, though. Darnell Washington paces the tight ends. 47. I mean, that's an awful lot. And folks, he is the tight end one. More notes on their usage in a minute. But Jonnu Smith comes in at 41. Jaylen Warren at 31. Scotty Miller, 26. He was basically the Austin. More on that to come. Freiermuth, only 21. He's just kind of the third wheel. Gainwell, 20. We got 17 snaps out of Spencer Anderson. I think that is staying here, to say the least. Roman Wilson played 15 as the pretty much the clear third receiver. Caleb Johnson got 11. Poor guy had to basically just run into a brick wall at the end of the game, closing things out, but oh well. Side note, too, that I guess some of the people I did shows with today, Rob Pursuta, did the math on if you take the 3 Rudolph kneel downs out, Steelers are right around a yard over per carry than what the Browns have been giving up. And if you even want to take a step further, and this is a little bit, kind, that if you take out all those like late kill the clock, Caleb Johnson runs into a brick wall, Steelers ran the ball pretty darn well, especially on a per carry basis. All right, we'll finish these out. Skoranek played 10. Hayward played 6. Rudolph 3. McCullum 3. Ramsey 3. And Keyshawn Williams, a wide receiver / returner, who's definitely got some juice to him, played 1. How about the defensive snaps? Let me scroll up here. Okay. They played 82 snaps on defense, which again is too many. Queen was the only one that played them all. Porter only missed 3. I would have thought he was in and out more than that. Elliott played 75. Thornhill played 71. I think it's pretty clear he's the safety starter at this point. Peppers, I'm not exactly sure what to think about, but I'm still intrigued. Ramsey played 63. Peyton Wilson, 54. Slay, 51. Herbig, 50. Love it. Benton, 49. TJ, 49. Harmon, 48. Highsmith, 47. Cam played 43. Then we get into guys like Eccles and Holcomb at 28 each. Sawyer, 24. Now, some of these are late in the game when it's not super important. Like Watt sat that last series or so. Good. That's what you're supposed to do, to get these guys playing time. Black played 16. Pierre played 14. 11 for Ekwale. 10 for Otto Menwu. I think that's his first time he's been actually got a helmet this year. And only 10 for Peppers. So, again, I'm going to do some more Peppers homework and figure out where exactly that guy is in the pecking order, etc.
Football season's finally here. Time to check out the latest odds, futures, and win totals on the FanDuel Sportsbook. Think the Steelers are headed to the Super Bowl? Lock in your bets today. Whatever your game, FanDuel Sportsbook delivers the latest lines, futures, and specials, so you can join in on all the action.
As always, I got a bunch of little nuggets here. We'll start off with some stats, some more advanced stuff. Average yards per carry before first contact. Not great by the Steelers, but remember, they were playing the best run defense in the league. Just 0.9 yards. That's okay, not great. Cleveland was at 1.2. So basically what they're saying was there was more room to run for the Browns backs than the Steelers backs. And average yards per carry after contact was about the same. 2.7 for Pittsburgh, 2.6 for the Browns. Yet, explosive runs. Steelers had 4. Browns only had 1. Steelers tackling's been really good. Explosive passes also favored the Steelers, 5-3. Tackles for loss on runs. The Steeler defense had 5. The Brown defense had 0. A big thing that we talked about a little yesterday, but a big thing I've been saying today is very, very few negative offensive plays for the Steelers. Tackles for loss allowed, sacks, turnovers. They're consistent. Maybe they're not. It's not always beautiful, but they're consistently moving the football forward. And I think Rodgers has a ton to do with that at the line of scrimmage, just getting them in the right calls and all those type of things. The Steelers forced 8 missed tackles on running plays. The Browns only forced 2. So on run plays, the Steelers only missed 2 tackles. Remember at the beginning of the year, they were like the worst tackling team in the league. That has been corrected in a big way. Steelers did a really good job, I thought, too, on defensively on early downs. So the Browns were in the 15th percentile on early downs offensively, and only on the 18th percentile per drop back. So Steelers did a really nice job in that regard. I'm shocked it's this high, but everyone's attacking the Steelers in the middle of the field. Browns were no different. They threw to the middle of the field against the Steelers at the 93rd percentile. So like the top of the league. I thought it was noteworthy, not that he's a great runner, but 0 rushing yards by Gabriel. Kept him where they wanted him to be, threw in the middle of the field. Again, he's not a great runner, but they got after him a lot, and he didn't do anything at all with his legs. I thought Rodgers was great in this game. Again, I thought he did a great job with sack avoidance. I think he did a great job at the line of scrimmage and total control. But he was also in the 81st percentile per drop back. So really strong game from him. Again, rarely goes backwards. Just a very efficient Steelers passing game for me. As for the Steelers offense, they were in the 78th percentile on early downs. And along those lines, they were in the 90th percentile for not taking negative plays. Just consistently moving the ball forward. I thought that was a huge thing here. The Browns dropped 5 passes in this game, but they also threw a ton. The Steelers had 6 PBUs and pass breakups, which easily could have turned into interceptions too. I mean, the Steelers got their hands on footballs a lot. And if they get 1 or 2 more, if those, instead of a PBU, if one of them turns into, or 2 of them turn into an interception, I have a hunch that's a blowout or so. So Steelers' average depth of target went up drastically in this game. 7.7 in this game. That's way higher than it's been. They had 4 attempts of 20 or more yards. Remember, there's been a lot of games we've talked about with none. The Browns' average depth of target was 6.5, which is reasonably short. Get it out quick. That's kind of what they've been having to do. Steelers' time to throw was higher than usual, but still on the low end. 2.62 seconds time to throw. Browns was very quick. 2.51. And frankly, I don't think Gabriel's ever going to be a drive the ball down the field guy. This is crazy, though. Pressures. How many pressures did the Steelers get on Gabriel? 31. 31 pressures on him, and 6 of them were unblocked pressures. And if you remember, I used to be really critical of this team for not devising unblocked pressures, which I think falls on the coaching staff. Is get blitzers to come free, bring more than they can block. They're doing a much better job of that. 31 pressures, 6 unblocked. The Browns only pressured Rodgers 8 times. 8 pressures total. Steelers had, that was season highs for sacks, hits, and pressures for the Steelers. And their 14 quarterback hits was the highest of any team in any game this year. It tied, but they hit Gabriel 14 times. That's no quarterback's been hit more than that in a game this season. 6 different Steelers had multiple quarterback hits. Herbig had 4. Watt had 3. 2 for Ramsey, Sawyer, Harmon, Highsmith. It's great. I thought there was also a really strong game. Not a ton of snaps, but when they were called upon, I thought Ekwale, I think you guys know he's becoming kind of one of my favorites for his role. And Pierre. I mean, Pierre used to get thrust in as like the 3rd corner. Oh, no. Now he gets thrust in as like the 4th or 5th corner on game day. And it's like, he's holding up just fine for that. Some offensive notes that I said we'd talk about too. Miller basically took over as the wide receiver in 2 and 3 receiver sets. I mean, he was really the Austin here. In 3 receiver sets, Wilson and Skoranek basically split that role. So Miller was the 2, Skoranek or Wilson was the 3, depending on how they wanted to use them. They played 23 plays with 1 receiver on the field. That's really, really high for today's NFL. 21 plays with only 2 receivers on the field, and just 12 snaps with 3 receivers on the field. When they had a single tight end set, Metcalf played 19 of those 23 snaps. So Metcalf was on the field for 90% of all their passing plays, but the next highest receiver just on passing plays was Scotty Miller all the way down at 48%. And then Roman Wilson at 26% behind that. So when Skoranek was out there in 3 receiver sets, usually it was a run. To be expected. I know it's a somewhat of a tell, but so be it. Last couple things here. Darnell Washington leads the Steelers in snaps at tight end for the 2nd straight week. He's played over 45 snaps in each of the last 2 games after playing 30 or fewer in the first 3. He played 31 of a possible 35 snaps in 11 personnel, 1 tight end, on early downs over the past 2 weeks. So if there's 1 tight end out there on early downs, it's Washington. He has also played the vast majority of 2 tight end snaps over the last 2 weeks, 40 of a possible 50, whether it's throwing downs or whatever. I wanted to double check on Njoku. He only lasted 3 snaps into the 4th quarter. Fannin the Browns ran 35 snaps in the 4th quarter. Now, a lot of it was garbage time and all those things, but Fannin played 30 of those 35 4th quarter snaps. Njoku only lasted 3 of those 35. Caleb Johnson did play those 11 snaps. I don't think that's becoming a 3-man rotation, but I liked how they used him in that instance. Get him out there for several touches in a row, several snaps in a row when the game's in hand. I'd love to see the same thing Thursday night. It's a luxury item, but at least get him some hits, some touches, some speed of the game stuff, and don't forget about the guy. You know what I mean? And then last thing in terms of Browns running backs, Ford and Judkins both played the same amount of offensive snaps because they had 43 plays in 3rd down and 2-minute drill situations. If you had 3rd downs and 2-minute drill stuff, those were Ford. And they only had 31 snaps of what they'd call just early down normal situations. Last note on the Browns too, which is obviously a great testament to the Steelers, is the 2 Browns players that I feared the most going into this game were obviously Myles Garrett and Judkins, who I think is already their best offensive player. 2 of them did nothing in this game. Nothing. So again, great win by the Steelers. Quick turnaround. I need to get out of here and start looking into the Bengals. All right, take care.